Hey, this is Fish on a Heater with Tournament Takeaway. This is where we take a look at a battle that happened during a tournament and see what we can learn from it, take the good stuff and the bad stuff, more often the bad stuff, and see what we can learn from it, hopefully become better battlers. Obviously, the arena season has finished now, and there's not really much to do in PvP at the moment, so we're taking a look back at old videos from the vault. And this is one that made me cringe a little as we were watching it. This is against Cold Frog. This is a freestyle tournament. Remember when those were a thing? Freestyle tournaments. This was well before GBL came out and crushed any interest in freestyle tournaments. This is in the Arena Australis Discord server, and I'll give a quick shout out to the Arena Australis server. If you are from Australia or New Zealand and you're into PvP, maybe just getting into it for the first time, check out Arena Australis. I'll put the invite link in the description below the video. It's a server designed to really help people from Australia and New Zealand get as much as they can from out of PvP. It will open up a whole new world to you. They've got monthly tournaments going on. They've got the Ring, which is, I hope you guys have seen it. It's a weekly PvP kind of carryover champion battle set that we host every week. There's a gym leader challenge there. There's heaps going on. We enter into team tournaments as well all throughout the world. So yeah, definitely check that out if you're from Australia or New Zealand. Anyway, so we're against Cold Frog. He did finish the season as an elite trainer, so absolutely fantastic effort. Not too many people achieved that tier. What is it, like a few hundred people in the world got to elite? That is a good effort. And so this is a battle where we make some mistakes when it comes to shield baiting and shield usage. So let's check it out. So Cold Frog leads Azumarill. Of course he leads Azumarill. Azumarill was just as good before GBL as it is now during GBL. Now obviously the Azumarill has to watch out for the Sludge Bomb, not so much worried about the Mud Bomb. I saved up, I fired enough counters to get to the Sludge Bomb and then went for the Mud Bomb trying to draw that shield. And I let the Ice Beam go. Now that's a bit risky to start off with. We're going to pause that. That's a bit risky because being hit by the Ice Beam, obviously Toxicroak, pretty glassy Pokemon, right? Once I get hit by the Ice Beam, it's a bit kind of risky that I'll even be able to get to a Sludge Bomb after that. I might get bubbled down at that point. So, usually want to shield that first one if you plan to shield bait, because then it'll allow you time to get to the Mud Bomb and the Sludge Bomb. Having said that, I've come up against some good battlers who understand that. So I have kind of exploited that myself by not shielding the first one, making them think that I'm just going to fire the nuke move, the Sludge Bomb in this case, and then going for the bait anyway. Or vice versa, I have shielded, making them think he's going to bait, and then fire the nuke. In this case, I did the former. So I let the Ice Beam go and fired that Mud Bomb, hoping that they would think that I was just going to go straight for the nuke. And they didn't fall for it, so they knew that that bait was coming. I think also back then, this is, December 2019, the arena had only been going for a year at that point. I think we were still very insistent on baiting at the start of a battle. It hasn't really been until like well into Season 2 that we've kind of learned that you don't always have to go for the bait. Now, I have just skipped over this. And this is the problem with letting that ice beam go, right, I started to get a little bit worried that those bubbles would faint me before I could get to the sludge bomb. So I fire the second mud bomb one counter too early. Which is amazing because, like, I would have gotten to a sludge bomb. I was one counter away, and it took 2 bubbles to faint me. I would have gotten to that second sludge bomb. Now, Cold Frog did shield that, which is fine, so the sludge bomb wouldn't have gone through, but it doesn't matter. That still makes it an incorrect decision on my part. Actually, for what it's worth, I actually do think that it was a bit of an incorrect decision to leave it on Cold Frog's part during the first one. Like, when I had that sludge bomb ready and that... no, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Because a sludge bomb takes out about 60% of an Azumarill's energy. So, it was actually... It was the correct decision for Cold Frog to let that go, because even if it's a mud bomb, then Cold Frog is laughing. It does very little damage. Cold Frog's got both its shields remaining. If it's a sludge bomb, it loses 60% of its HP, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it's still plenty to let the Azumarill do what it wants to do. So it actually was the correct decision to leave that first one and to shield the second. Having said that, Cold Frog might have been able to... Might have been a bit better at counting how many counters I'd thrown, because if he'd done better at counting, then he would have known that I didn't quite have enough for another sludge bomb, and he wouldn't have shielded that either. But again, that's nitpicky. He really, in the end, I think, did make the right decision in both instances. So now I faint, and I bring out the Meganium. Now again, I talked just before about how the Azumarill can fire, can take a sludge bomb. It loses 60% of its HP, but it still takes it and can still keep doing what it wants to do. That's the same with Meganium. That Azumarill is on low enough HP that the Meganium can take an Ice Beam, only lose, I think, 70-odd% of its HP, and it can almost farm down the Azumarill with just Vine Whips. But instead, I use the shield here to try and keep that thing as healthy as possible. Now, out comes the Deoxys. And let me rewind that back to the Switch. Alright, we'll have to take this first. So, there's some good move counting on my part, but that information is used in the incorrect way. Okay, so we've discussed in previous videos how the moves start happening as soon as the Pokeball starts being thrown. So we've already seen one counter, and now this is the second one coming up. Let's count the counters. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I switch into a Frostlass. Why? Why? Deoxys has Rock Slide, and it takes 7 counters to get to a Rock Slide. What did I hope to achieve by switching in the Frostlass there? Alright, so Psycho Boost. Now, I'm guessing this is Battle 2 of the 3. So I'm guessing maybe that Deoxys had shown that it's already got Psycho Boost. Oh, you know what? I think this is before Psycho Boost was changed to get the attack debuff. Hang on, let me see this. Okay, that makes a difference. Okay, so that's why that happened. So this was all the way back before Psycho Boost dropped 2 stages of attack, which meant that I knew that Psycho Boost was coming, and the more popular moveset for Deoxys was Psycho Boost and Thunderbolt. There it is. So I countered that and timed it fantastically to catch the Psycho Boost with the Frost Slice, right? So good start for me in this matchup. Now I shield this one. Not the best decision. Maybe it may. Yeah, no, it was probably alright because I need to get rid of this Deoxys now. Obviously, if it gets hit by a Shadow Ball, that is gonna hurt bad. But the Deoxys does have shields to hide behind, so I need my Frost Slice to be, you know, up and about still. Now here's where the big mistake was, right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was at enough. That was enough counters for another Psycho Boost. It had reached another Psycho Boost, right? I try and go for the Avalanche, and am unable to get the second Avalanche out because the Deoxys is already at its charge move. So I get what I was trying to do there in trying to farm. I was trying to get up in like enough energy to maximize the amount of energy that I built up before having to deal with the next charge move coming through. Unfortunately, I left it a bit too late because it meant all that energy went to waste, right? And I went for the Avalanche, trying to, you know, get to the, trying to burn that second shield and then hit it with the Shadow Ball, right? So the problem with that is that I can just go straight Shadow Ball, because if the Deoxys shields, then I've got a Meganium in the back with heaps of energy, and the Meganium can finish off the Deoxys. So even if I lose my Frost Slice at that point, that's no huge problem, because the Meganium can then, you know, start doing some real work. It can finish off the Deoxys with a Frenzy Plant. It can take out the Azumarill easily before the Azumarill can get to another Ice Beam. We don't know what it's got in the back, which is fair, but if we look at Cold Frog's team here, Registeel will be hurt pretty badly by an Earthquake. Whiscash is going to be crushed by Frenzy Plant. We don't want to see Altaria, but even Marowak can also get to an Earthquake. So we would have been fine if we'd thrown the Shadow Ball and the Deoxys had used its last shield, because then that kind of opens the door for Meganium to do a heap of work afterwards. So we should have thrown the Shadow Ball rather than trying to bait out the last shield with the Avalanche, because we didn't even get to a second charge move to make that bait worthwhile. Missing a couple of I don't know how you can miss a couple of targets on a grass move, but so now it's the Marowak in the back, right? we try and go for a bait again. And now, it's appropriate to go for a bait. Because we, with no shields left, are absolutely not going to get to 2 earthquakes. So the only thing you can do is to try and bait with that frenzy plant first. Unfortunately, we faint just as we get to the 2nd earthquake, but there were a lot of things that could have made that very easily avoidable. In particular, that wasted energy on the Frostlass was a big deal. If we'd gone straight Shadow Ball, we would have taken out the Deoxys. Maybe they bring out, I don't know, the Marowak, but we have enough energy to then start pressuring them with Shadow Balls. They use their last shield. We can then get to an Earthquake on the Meganium. Say we'd thrown a Shadow Ball and they did shield. We still lose that Frostlass, but we've at least gotten more use out of our energy. Again, the Meganium comes out. It takes out the Deoxys. We don't have to worry about trying to shield bait the Marowak. We would have actually beaten the Marowak because we would have just had to get to 1 Earthquake and that would have taken out the Marowak. So really that one big moment of knowing when to shield bait was the difference between winning and losing. There was the second kind of instance right at the beginning with the Toxicroak versus the Azumarill. Should have built up to the Sludge Bomb the second go around before firing, but that actually didn't make a difference to the grand scheme of the battle. That was just a mistake that we should be better than that, to be honest. Hopefully you've learned something from this video. I know I did. Tune in next week. We'll be taking a look at more battles from yesteryear, back in the days before GBL and everyone thinking they knew what they were talking about. Do me a favor, share this video around if you enjoy it and you think that others can learn from it as well. And we will see you in the next video.